Do you want a gig? Have you ever auditioned for a gig? Or do you even know what to do to play in a gig? Well, today I'm going to teach you 5 things that keep most drummers from getting a gig.
Over the past 3.5 years, I've had a pretty great gig, but it hasn't always been that way. There have been plenty of times in the past where I didn't get the gig, or even worse, I got it and then I messed it up. But over time, I figured out there were a few key things I needed to improve to be able to get the gig and keep it. So today, I'm going to share some of those key things with you.
Hello, my beautiful friends. Gabe here from drumbeatsonline.com. And today we are talking about 5 mistakes that are keeping you from getting the gig. First and foremost, you need to make sure that you can actually play the songs and you have the ability to play the songs on the drums for the gig that you are trying to get. Otherwise, none of these points are gonna make any sense. The second thing that is hugely important is you have to be friendly. You have to actually be a good person that people want to be around, because if you're someone who just takes from other people and tears them down, well, then you're never actually going to get a gig. And if you do, it won't last very long, trust me. With that said, let's hop right into the list. So the first mistake that keeps most drummers from getting the gig is lack of preparation.
Okay, Gabe, so for this song, we're actually gonna start off with the beat from the second verse, but we're gonna...
Well, I am completely screwed. I didn't even listen to that song, and I have no idea what tempo it's at. Okay, all right, just smile, pretend that you know what you're doing, and then just count it off and start playing. We'll see what happens.
So I have been there a million times, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. So step number 1 to being super prepared for any gig is to chart out the song. So when you are first listening to the song you have to learn, first write down the tempo. This is super important. Step number 2 is you want to write out the actual structure of the song. So intro, verse, chorus, and so on. And with each section, make sure you write down exactly how many measures it is. This will make sure that you are never left guessing, is the chorus next or is the bridge next? You will know exactly when to go to the next section. And step number 3, when you are charting out the song, write a little note next to each section of what type of drum part you're playing. Are you on the toms? Are you on the open hi-hat? Are you supposed to play quietly? This will all be really helpful for remembering the song as a whole. Then after that, repetition is key. Practice each song upwards of 10 times or more while really getting that structure down. Once you've done that, get rid of the music and only play the song along to the click track. This will make sure that you're not reliant on certain vocal parts or guitar leads to get you into one section, because if you're playing with a band, they might mess up and they might not include that part. So make sure you know the full song inside and out by charting it out, repeating it, and then putting it to the test by playing it to just a click track. The second mistake that is holding most drummers back from getting a gig is the fact that they never stick to the pocket or that they are often overplaying. In this day and age, so much about drumming is focused on how fast you can play or how many chops you can play, but the reality is the most important thing for us to know how to do as drummers is groove and have a good pocket that makes the rest of the band sound better. So let me show you a quick example of what it sounds like when you can hold down a pocket and hold down a groove, and then what it sounds like when maybe you're overplaying a bit. So if you're questioning, Gabe, how do I know if I'm holding down a good groove or a good pocket? You have to ask yourself, is what you're playing making people bob their heads? Can they tap their toes to what you're playing? Or if you want great examples of this, maybe go listen to the album Continuum by John Mayer, or maybe the album 21 by Adele. These are perfect albums that are a great example of pocket and groove. The third mistake that keeps drummers from getting a gig is the fact that they have no dynamics. Even if you can hold a super steady groove and you're super well prepared and you're a great person to be around, if you don't know what volume to play the music at or what type of energy to give the song, unfortunately, you're probably not going to get that gig. Dynamics play a huge role. So if you're playing rock music, you really need to make sure that you are giving the song the energy it deserves. You need to be laying into the drums and playing them, quite frankly, a little bit louder. And then on the other end, if you're playing some type of pop or indie rock or funk song that requires you to play quieter, you need to be able to do that as well. The fourth thing that could be keeping you from a gig is confidence, and this is twofold. Some people have too much and a lot of people have not enough. So first, let's talk about the people who don't quite have enough confidence, because this is probably most of us. Now, you always want to make sure that you have what I like to call humble confidence. You want to be humble and friendly to everyone else and not like a big show off or anything like that. But you want to be confident that you are going to do a good job. If you are constantly second guessing yourself, you are going to be incredibly nervous the entire time. And this goes back to point number one. If you are really prepared, then you will be confident and you will be able to overcome that stage fright that will inevitably come. And when it does, maybe do a few deep breaths, do a quiet meditation for a couple minutes, and get your mind right before going out onto stage. And then if you are someone with too much confidence, all I would say is maybe bring it down a level, because the people who are too confident tend to be the ones that aren't super friendly and they can be tough to be around sometimes. And that goes back to the beginning of this video. And the fifth thing that is keeping a lot of drummers from getting gigs is lack of adaptability/flexibility. Now, like we said, you want to be super prepared for the gig, but there are going to be times where you need to change things on the fly. So if you are playing a song and the singer wants you to double up the chorus, you need to be making sure that you are aware of everything on stage so that you can adapt and keep moving on the fly. Or maybe you're gonna add a song right away or cut a song right away. You need to make sure that you are open to roll with the punches. And again, this all goes back to preparation. If you are overly prepared, then not a lot is going to throw you for too much of a loop. So if you are super prepared, you stick to the pocket, you know your dynamics, you are nice and humbly confident, and you are able to be flexible within your playing. These are all going to be things that can contribute to you getting a gig and, more importantly, keeping the gig. So if you enjoyed this lesson, I think you would love some of the courses that I have on DBO Academy. One of them being the Gigging Drummer Success Guide, where we talk about a lot more of this in much more depth and detail. Another one is a great course called How to Play Perfectly with a Band. This tells you everything that you need to know to succeed in a band setting. So if you want to join the DBO Academy waitlist, you can click right up here. I'll send you a free lesson and you will secure your spot on the waitlist totally for free. Again, thank you so much for watching this lesson. Stay true, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.